Collective. Welcome in. If you'd like to book a personal reading with me, all of the information is in the description box below. Let's jump in, see what wants to come through. I have surrender. Release and surrender all control and let nature take its course. Okay, easier said than done, right? So, I have control issues. You might have control issues too. So let's go through this together. But here it's just saying, you need to let go just a little bit of that control so that something really good can play out for you. Okay. So I know that, we tend to want to kind of control how situations are playing out in our lives. It's natural. But it's saying, hey, put your foot off the brake. Something needs to kind of move forward here. Okay. Let's go further into this and see exactly what this is referring to. Okay. Usually, when we have things that are starting to kind of stall out, or maybe things aren't exactly coming together for us, it's usually because we're our own greatest block. Okay. And that's because we're, attempting to have some kind of control in a situation. And we're thinking that that's going to be, how we're going to get our results. But really, it's in the actual state of surrender in which it unblocks that state of energy flow. And those things can come forward to us. Okay. So this is likely what's happening here. I have physical pain and emotional pain coming out again. So, man, you're pumping on them brakes. Like you need to let up a little bit. Okay. This might be causing a little bit of stress and a little bit of anxiety in you because you're starting to kind of really wonder, like, why aren't things coming together for me? What's happening? Why aren't things moving forward? And it's stressing you out enough that it's actually coming out in a form of physical pain of some kind. Now, this can be headache, this can be actual pains like joint pain, this can be back pain, this can be headaches, this can be anxiety, whatever it is. By the time the physical body is feeling a physical result of something, the anxiety and the stress has been there for some time and has built up significantly. Okay, so this is saying, hey, let up a little bit. Okay, let up on those brakes a little bit, let things just kind of flow so that things can begin to move forward for you. I have playtime. Fun is calling you. Okay, this doesn't surprise me and this shouldn't surprise you. This is saying let up a little bit. Okay, let up. Don't take life too seriously. It will all work out. And I know, again, everything I'm going to be saying here is a lot easier said than done. But just trust me when I'm saying that, you just need to kind of let loose so that things can begin to flow. It's kind of like, a garden hose. If, there's a dirt clog in it, the water's not going to be able to come out, or it's going to be trickling and you're going to kind of wonder why, what's happening there and why the water isn't flowing and get a bit frustrated with it. And that's the same thing that happens with us. We can get very, kind of and resistant to the change. And so then we, kind of pump on the brake without even knowing it sometimes. Okay. So this is your great indicator of saying, hey, you just need to let up a little bit so that things can begin to move forward. I have cold and control. Control. That might be your keyword for today. No offense. I do this too. Okay, so I have cold and control, silent, observing, hiding feelings, secretive, blocking emotions, and mask. Okay, again, so I don't know what situation you're in. Okay, so I feel you on this. This can be a variety of situations. And, when I kind of get into the tarot, I'm going to have a better idea of what's happening here because we can get into this particular energy for a variety of reasons. This can even be that situations outside of us or even people are putting us in this particular situation. Maybe there is an energy that is happening around you that's making you feel, a little less than okay. And so it's making you just kind of like tighten up a little bit and, not really want to like move forward, or it's just kind of making you stand still a little bit. Okay. Let's get some tarot so maybe I can get some advice for you, clear things up and see what exactly is happening here. Okay. But just take a deep breath. Okay. Take a deep breath, take a minute, just relax and, release a little bit of, the need for control right now and allow things to sort out. You're not going to solve anything in your life right now in this particular energy. Okay. If anything, it might actually exacerbate what's happening here and make it a little bit worse. Okay. Let's take a look at the overall energy. And so I can kind of get a better idea of what's happening in this situation. Maybe find some useful information for you. Okay. The overall energy, I have death. Okay, so I can see why you're having a little bit of a hard time here. Okay, so you might be going through some situations that are ending in your life. This can happen in, sometimes it happens in one specific area of our life. It can have to do with relationships, it can have to do with jobs, or it can have to do with family and friends. Whatever this is that's playing out and ending in your life, I mean, it could even be the whole shebang, okay? It just depends upon what's actually happening here. With the energy that you're in right now, it's something that you clearly didn't like. You didn't want to happen ideally, or even if you kind of wanted it to take place and you knew it was time for an end, it doesn't necessarily make it easy, okay? So we all process these endings, and we think that it's just kind of like, yeah, I'm going to go on with my day and act like nothing happened and I'm good, everything's fine. But this tells me that you're in a bit of an energy where things are really tense for you and it's not really, playing out so well for you right now. You may even be feeling physically ill from these things or just feeling tired in general, maybe even depressed. Okay. So here I can see you're going through some significant endings that definitely is understandable why you're in this energy. Let's take a look at the recent past, kind of see how things got here. In the recent past, I have strength. So, whatever this is, this particular situation that's playing out for you required you to have enormous strength and willpower, okay? Whatever this was clearly really difficult for you. Whether this was an ending that was by your own choice and of your own choosing, and you chose to exit a situation that was no longer good for you, or this is a situation that ended up ending despite, you maybe not wanting it to end in particular, and it was kind of something that you didn't see coming or maybe just kind of happened, with someone that just you didn't really expect or ideally want to happen. Okay. But whatever it is here in the recent past, you had to show great strength and great courage and a resilience of some sort in order to kind of, move through this particular situation. Let's take a look at the present here and get a little more information. But, kudos to you. Some of these situations are really hard. And a lot of times life really asks us to be very courageous. But there's nothing that's going to be asked of you that you don't already have the ability to do. Okay. So if you already have great strength and great resiliency within you, which is why you're able to kind of move through these particular situations, but you also need to make sure that you're not doing that strength and courageous thing, and just kind of like pushing through and getting so tight where, it's creating a little bit of a block for you. Okay. So here I have the Ace of Pentacles coming out in the present energy. This is a brand new energy trying to come through to you. Okay. So all of the things that you've been through in the past, that required you to have great strength and courage to get through, that had to come to a particular end, or maybe you're here in this time of rebirth. Either way, it's very hard to get through this particular energy here, okay? So it's telling me that there's a brand new opportunity in real time that is presenting itself to you after this time of something having come to an end, okay? So even though this feels really trying at times and can feel a bit chaotic, there is a new opportunity that's trying to present itself to you here in the present energy, and it's asking you to just kind of let up a little bit so that this new opportunity can really come through for you, okay? Whether this is a new job or it's just kind of moving forward in life successfully and taking that next step and having it be presented to you so you know which next step to take on the path toward your future. Whatever this is, it's trying to say, hey, we need you to let up just a little bit on the energy so that these things can come into you. This may be many opportunities or just one opportunity. Maybe there's a new job waiting for you, but it's just saying, hey, we need you to let up a little bit so that we can allow and bring in for these things to come forth to you, okay? Let's take a look at the near future for you. So far, this energy looks really good. I know it's really tough, but, it's looking really good, okay? In the near future, I have the Eight of Wands. So the energy is going to begin to pick up. So as soon as you're able to kind of let loose just a little bit, get off the brake a little bit, the car is going to move forward, okay? And it's going to start to pick up really fast. With the Eight of Wands, there could be a lot of communication coming in. Maybe you are looking for that new job, okay? Or maybe you're applying for a new apartment or something, or a house, or a loan or something. And this is saying that, here in the near future, if you kind of let up just a little bit, ease up because things are trying to come in for you, the energy will begin to pick up really quickly. And either this communication is going to come in really swiftly for this new opportunity. Maybe you're going to get that particular job. Maybe you're going to get a call back and you're going to find that you got the house or the apartment that you're looking for. Okay. So this is saying, once you kind of let up a little bit, this opportunity is going to be able to come in and the energies are going to be able to move forward really quickly toward this new beginning for you. Okay. Let's take a look at some advice. The advice here I have is the Two of Cups. Okay. So this can be, an energy of just saying, just get kind of balanced here. Okay. This can even be that whatever relationships you have still standing, friendships or otherwise, the Two Cups, they're significant soulmate relationships to us, but it can also be an internal balance. So this may be saying, hey, make sure that you're connecting with people that are very supportive to you emotionally as you're in this significant time of change. If you have a good friend, or maybe, you have, a brother or a sister or something that you can kind of lean on a little bit in these times of change and transition, you can kind of just talk these things through with people. And if this doesn't have to do with anyone else in particular, this is just saying that you're going to regain a sense of emotional balance here. That things may have been really trying in the past because you had to be brave and courageous and move through some of these endings. It's saying that things are going to begin to emotionally balance out for you as these things begin to pick up. So once you let up, it's going to be able to all come into balance for you and then move forward. Let's take a look at what's hidden here in case there's something that would be helpful to you. What's hidden here is the Queen of Swords. Again, this doesn't surprise me. This is that significant decision point that you had to be in, okay? So this is a really uncomfortable energy for us to have to be in sometimes, okay? When you get the Queen of Swords energy, it's not, gender specific, male or female. It doesn't even matter. This is the energy that you've had to be in that's hidden here, okay? So what this is saying is that you've had to speak a truth. You've had to stand your ground, okay? And that cannot be very easy. That's not always easy, okay? And sometimes we have to take on those tough conversations. We have to speak our truth and we have to stand our ground in situations and with people in order to kind of move forward and, stand up for ourselves. Okay. So it looks like you were put in a position where you had to stand up for yourself. You had to speak a really hard truth that may not have been very easy for you and took a lot of strength and courage to do so. And because you were able to be brave enough to do that, things are beginning to move forward for you. Again, if you had to speak a truth about, say, you had to end a job or a relationship and you just kind of had to do it, maybe it was really tough to speak to whoever you had to speak to and they didn't ideally, like what you had to say, but it's telling me that this is paying off because you have a whole new opportunity presenting itself to you and these energies are just waiting to move forward. Okay. So again, kudos to you on that because it is not easy to speak our truth, especially to people, that were significant to us in these times and maybe had, a meaningful place in our heart at one point in time. And we just had to speak that hard truth in order to kind of, do what was best for us. Okay. So let's take a look at what you don't see coming in the coming weeks. We don't see coming in the coming weeks is the Six of Swords. Okay, this is a beautiful energy. Again, things are just beginning to move forward. The only one pumping the brakes is going to be you. Okay, so even though you had to be in that Queen of Swords energy where you really had to speak your truth, really had to stand in your ground and, do some tough things and make some really tough decisions, this is saying that there's a time and a place for the Queen of Swords energy and there's a time to kind of let up on it. Okay. So you don't need to be so, on the defensive, like, waiting for people to kind of come at you. Okay. Just put down the sword a little bit and lighten up a little bit so that these energies can move forward because they really are taking you in a whole new direction here. At the bottom of the deck, I have the King of Pentacles, and this is telling me that things are trying to get you to a very new, solid, grounded place. Okay. A really stable place where you're going to feel really good about, where things have come to be, even though it's been really hard to get here. Okay. So just hang on tight there. It looks like everything's working out for you. Just lighten up a little bit. Okay. Put your sword down. Don't be so quick to cut. Okay. Even if people have put you in those positions, I understand, but, just let go a little bit and let the energies play out for you because everything is looking really positive from what I can see so far here. You have a really beautiful opportunity trying to bring itself in for you and things are beginning to move forward. So until next time, I'll see you later.